Hi, Steve. So for people who haven't seen it yet, what can people expect from this documentary?
I think it definitely shows a side of MIA that hasn't been seen before. She was quite shocked when she first saw it that it's not a traditional music documentary. There's not a lot of performance in it, but it's really about the journey that she's been on from first arriving in the UK as an immigrant when she was 10 years old, and just trying to balance these different identities that she has. That's why it's called Matangi Maya MIA. Matangi's the name she was born with, Maya's how I know her, and MIA obviously as a performer. So it's about negotiating what it is to mix different cultures together.
I understand you've been friends a long time, since art school, and also this documentary's been a long time in the making. So, kind of what first prompted you to want to do it?
I have been friends with her for so long that I knew that she had these old videotapes that she'd filmed back when we were in college, and I was like, that stuff is gold dust, it would be amazing. And she never really wanted to use it. She was a bit uncomfortable about sort of digging into the family history and that kind of thing, and I was sort of talking to her and said, I think now is the right time. We first started making things around sort of thinking about a documentary in 2012, and she was like, well, funnily enough, I'm doing the Super Bowl. Why don't you come and film that? And from there, that was the first thing I filmed, and then that sent it off on a journey. And at first, it was a really sort of celeb-y thing. I did loads of talking heads interviews, but eventually it morphed into this much more sensitive, intimate, kind of candid version of her that I think is really appropriate for right now. It's really nice to see a kind of insider perspective of what it is to be an immigrant into the UK, into Western culture, and it's particularly that it's got this kind of rags to riches sort of Cinderella thing in it that you think would be the wonderful and make her really happy, and the kind of itchiness, the discomfort of trying to hang on to those two different identities that she has.
I understand when Maya first saw it, she was a bit shocked herself. So, did you have a really challenging moment in the making of this documentary, in the process?
For the most part, I kept her very, very far away from it, because I just thought this is never going to work if you're in the edit suite leaning over my shoulder going, don't use that and do use this. I had to ring her up and say, I don't understand what's going on in this situation on this tape, or who's that person, or can you tell me more about what was going on in this situation where I hadn't been present. But it was really important to me that I was making something that was as objective as being her friend, as objective as I possibly could be, because she has got this reputation for being controversial or problematic or outspoken, and I wanted to take a kind of dispassionate look and make sure I was being objective about that and being honest about some of the times that she stumbled or struggled with different things, and I think that's all in there in the film. So yeah, when she first saw it, she was like, whoa, this is quite raw. And yeah, she saw it for the first time, the finished film, at the Sundance Film Festival, and that was quite an awkward moment to go and invite him to the stage. It's MIA kind of thing, and then I was like, what did you think, live on stage in front of a whole audience of people? So yeah, that was interesting.
And you explore her as both a pop culture icon, as a musician, but also an activist. What do you think people are going to take away from this film, if it had any kind of message?
When we've been doing the screenings, it's been really heartwarming to see the different people and how diverse they are that come up and say to Maya afterwards, you don't know what you've meant to me, and how much your story is similar to mine, and my family are just like yours, and that kind of thing. And that's been wonderful to see that it has actually affected and resonated with different people. So I think there's inside of the MIA story, there's something about strength and something about self-esteem that I think does come out of the film. Like, she's just a really tough cookie, and I think that's inspiring to see her go through all of these different journeys and struggles, and sometimes she gets it right, sometimes she gets it wrong, but she's definitely someone that keeps on battling and keeps on trying, and I think that's what people take away from the film.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for your time.